Hey everyone, welcome to the flipped classroom, preview for the session we're doing tomorrow. And what I'm going to try and do in the next few minutes is answer the question, what is a flipped class? And we're going to be demonstrating some of the techniques that we're using in this method of teaching. So I'm going to walk through a short PowerPoint, show you a couple videos, and then we'll just go from there, picking up tomorrow morning. So the first thing, I want you to take a look at this video, and then we'll bring it back and we'll talk a little bit more.
Opposite, because you do your homework in class and then you do your learning outside of class. So you have
Minutes function. Let's compare that to fructose. Okay, fructose is another sugar.
I like the learning at home thing because you can get more help on the assignments when you're at school rather than struggling with them at home.
Diffusion is simply random movement of objects or
themselves, as if a teacher stands up there and explains it all. There's some kids that are going to get it and some kids that aren't going to.
So Gina, why don't you walk us through some of the steps?
And let's say I make it about Lady Gaga, and
class time that I had the right way. And lectures just weren't a good way of using class time.
No longer am the guy who stands up in the front of the classroom and just yaks at a student for an hour, or what,
All right, so now that you've had a chance to see some student perspective on it and what a flipped classroom is, the first thing we need to talk about are some of these myths. And Salman Khan has gotten really big over the last year or so, looking at the Gates Foundation and his version of a flipped classroom. But some educators get concerned because they say all kids are doing is going home and watching these Sal Khan videos, these Khan Academy videos, and that's myth number one: is that the flipped class is not the same thing as the Khan Academy at home every night. It's its own thing, and it's really banking on the interaction of students with the teacher in the classroom. And we're just using video to take that instructional piece and move it outside the classroom. The second myth is that all content should be taught through videos, and again, that's not true. A video is a usable means of communication, and it's something that we can leverage, but it's not the only way content should be taught. We still have to use varied instruction. We have to use labs. We have to use articles. We have to use discussion groups and things like that. So video is not the only means of transmission of content. The third myth is that the teacher can relax during class, and this is probably the biggest myth of them all. If kids are watching videos and doing labs, what's the teacher really do? And to be totally honest, you're going to be on your feet a lot more than you are even now. You're going to be moving around and talking with groups and working one-on-one with students, and so you're not relaxing. You're more active, and you're a learner on the side with the students, and you're not the sage up front dispensing information to these empty vessels. We're there next to the kids, making mistakes and learning with them. The fourth myth is that the flipped classroom is this magic bullet for education. I use a flipped classroom, but I still have problems with kids. I still have kids that are disinterested and non-motivated, and so while it does meet the needs of a lot of students, it doesn't fit the bill completely. And anytime we start talking about something that meets every student, that's when we need to be careful. The flipped classroom is a good tool for instruction, and it's something that you can leverage to meet the needs of your students, but it's not the only way to be doing things. What the flipped classroom is, and this came from an article that some colleagues and I wrote last summer, is it's a way to increase student interaction. If I'm not standing up front, I can be next to them one-on-one or in small groups, talking with them, getting to know them even in the teaching. It's an opportunity for learners to take responsibility of the content because I'm asking them to do it on their time and in their methods. What they are then doing is saying, this is how I want to dictate my learning instead of me dictating for them. So they're learning those responsibility skills. It's a space where I become a learner. So we're working on projects where students are taking those core ideas, but then they're building on top of those into other things. And I learn alongside with them, which is really exciting. And it's exciting for kids, too, to be able to teach me something. It's a hybrid of direct instruction with constructivist learning. So there are still times when we need to use direct instruction. We're not saying there is no place for that, but we're also pulling in all these other inquiry activities and discussions and projects and things like that. It's a class where content is permanently archived. So if you have a student that misses a month of school because they get sick, well, they're not missing that class time for you. They can go to the website, or they can go to Angel or something and grab all of that content that they've been missing and still learn it, on some remedial level, but they're not totally lost when they come back to school. And it's a place where all students can get personalized education. So, student Jim comes in and says, "Hey, Mr. Bennett, I had a problem last night with problem number 3." But then, Kevin on the other side can say, "Mr. Bennett, I got number 3, but number 6 really threw me off. I can now address their immediate concerns rather than trying to hit everyone all at once in a big group session. I can sit down next to both of those kids and I can say, all right, here's what you need to do. And then, on the other side, here's what you need to do differently." And so I can personalize the education experience for all of these students at the same time in the same room. This is a video of a principal who heard about the flipped classroom and decided to flip his high school. And this is a really powerful video. So I'm going to have you take a look at this. And I'm really excited about working with you on the flipped classroom. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.